hey, I'm Shay, and I am a transgender man. But that's not all that I am. I'm also a son, a big brother, an avid, some would say, obsessive reader. I love music and theater and baseball, and I also work in a church, and I'm studying to be a minister. This week also happens to be my birthday, and I'm going to be turning 30, which is pretty exciting. And to be honest, I wasn't sure that I was going to make it to 30. I see, I grew up in a church that told me that it wasn't okay to be queer. I grew up being told that gay people and trans people were going to hell, and that they were perverted and sick, and I took in a lot of those messages and allowed them to really run me for a really long time. I was told that if I was queer that I could never be a part of the church, and that I could never go into ministry, which is my heart's calling. And that was really hard for a really long time. Two of my friends were kicked out of college for being queer, and there were a lot of times when I thought it would just be easier if I could just cease to exist, and that would definitely be better than the life that I was living. And I worried that if I was true to myself, that I would lose the love of my family and my friends. But finally, it got to a point where I knew that I had to do what was right for me, no matter what the cost. And so when I was 27, I transitioned to male. And I gotta tell you, I have never been happier. I still have the love of my family. My friends have been wonderfully supportive, and the greatest part is that I'm finally in a body that feels right, and that I know is an authentic portrayal of who I know myself to be. And I've found a church that accepts me for who I am, and I've found a church that also affirms my call to ministry, and is going to allow me to be a minister knowing all of who I am, and that's just a really fantastic thing. And I just wanted to say to you, the people that are watching, that I know that it's not easy to be in high school and to be growing up knowing that you're different. And I know that right now you probably think that it might be easier if you just weren't around anymore. And you probably think that the only thing in your life is the fact that you're gay or you're trans or you're different, and that all life is that thing that people don't like about you. But the fact is that that's not all that you are. And one day, probably sooner than you think, you're going to get to show people the totality of who you are, and you're going to find people who love you for all of who you are, and that includes being gay or lesbian or trans, but that's not all that you are, and one day you're going to get to show the totality of that. So please know that there are people out there who are pulling for you, who really want you to succeed, who need you to make it. Please stay alive for us, for yourself. Know that we need your life, your love, and your light in the world. Know that there are things that only you can give to the world, and we need you to stay alive to do those things. And also, know that things are going to get better, that even though it doesn't seem like it right now, things do get better. And you really need to stay alive for it, because it's such a beautiful world, and we want you to be in it. And please know that even in the midst of the suckiness of it, that there are people that are supporting you, and that until it gets better, that we'll be here for you, and that I'm here for you. And if there's anything that I can do to help, just let me know. Take care of yourselves and stay alive.